Have you been considering surgery and wondered what the outcome would be? Stay tuned to learn a 3-card spread that will help you make that decision. Hi everybody, I'm Sue Allen Clayton. Welcome to my channel where we're learning how to read tarot 1 card at a time. In today's video, we'll be using a 3-card health, healing, recovery spread to figure out whether a woman should have surgery. I will be using the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot, and there is a link below. This reading was posted anonymously online, and it was a 4-word question. Should she have surgery? I have no other information about the patient's age, medical issues, or the type of surgery they were considering. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to call the patient Wilma. Before I get started, I need to say, if you have questions about your health, please see a medical professional. A couple of weeks ago, I had some issues with heartburn and chest pain and went to urgent care. They figured there was a better than 50% chance that I'd had a heart attack. You know what I did? It wasn't pull out my tarot cards in the exam room and ask for guidance. I followed the doctor's advice and went to the emergency room. Thankfully, it turned out I was fine. Tarot cards are wonderful and they add clarity and insight to health issues, but they are not a substitute for seeking medical care. Okay, lecture over. In this reading, we're trying to figure out if Wilma needs surgery. The querent pulled 3 cards. The querent did not mention using a spread, however, I will be using the 3-card Health, Healing, Recovery spread. Card number 1 is called Health. It shows the current state of Wilma's health and how surgery will impact it. The querent drew the Page of Pentacles. Card number 2 is called Healing. It shows what Wilma's healing process will be like post-surgery. The querent drew the High Priestess. Card number 3 is called Recovery. It shows what Wilma's long-term recovery will be like and how long it will take her to return to normalcy. The querent drew the 5 of Wands. Before we start, let's discuss my first impressions. I'll be honest, nothing really stuck out to me. The Page is facing toward the future. The High Priestess is facing directly toward us, and the guys in the 5 of Wands are all facing in different directions. All 3 cards are in daylight, and the Page and the guys in the 5 of Wands are on hills. None of these impressions were very helpful, but I tried. Let's look at the cards individually. Card number 1 is called Health. It shows the current state of Wilma's health and how surgery will impact it. The querent drew the Page of Pentacles. We'll start with the current state of Wilma's health. Pentacles are about health, so it is good that we see it in this position. We see the Page paying very close attention to the Pentacle, so I feel like her problem was caught early. It seems like Wilma is very in tune with her body, discovered what was wrong quickly, and has been very focused on the solution. Pages represent youth and vitality, so I don't think that Wilma's health issues have slowed her down. She is still feeling energetic and healthy. There also aren't a lot of distractions. Wilma is on a hill and holding the pentacle in both hands. I think that Wilma is very focused on her health issues and finding a solution. The sun is shining and there are no clouds to obscure her view. Wilma has nothing to keep her from seeing exactly what is going on or keep her from finding a solution. Pages are also the youngsters of the court cards. They are in school and their big role in life is to learn things. I think this points out that Wilma has done a lot of research about her health issues and learned the best way to resolve them. In addition to being about health, Pentacles represent a grounded, steady, patient approach. This is not the Page who waits until the night before the spelling test to learn all of his words. He's the Page who starts studying right away, sets up some flashcards, and asks his mom to administer a few practice tests to make sure that he's on track. When he makes a mistake, he figures out a way to fix it. He is prepared. This seems to be how Wilma has approached her health problems. She is being patient with herself and taken her time to research that she can realistically follow. The second part of what this card indicates is how surgery will impact Wilma's health. I think she will do very well. As students, pages are accustomed to following directions. This is especially true with the Page of Pentacles, who is the most grounded of all the pages. I think that Wilma will execute her plan to recover, follow directions, and figure out how to course correct when things don't go exactly as planned. As I said earlier, pages represent youth and vitality. This indicates that Wilma will feel young and healthy once she has recovered. We also see a sunny sky, which points to a positive outcome. In short, Wilma is feeling good, and if she has surgery, she will follow medical advice and get better quickly. You've made it this far in the video, and I wanted to stop and ask for a favor if you're not already a subscriber, and that is to please hit the subscribe button. It's free for you, and it will help me to grow this channel. Plus, it means that you won't miss anything. Thanks so much, and if you're already a subscriber, I truly appreciate your ongoing support. Now let's get back to the video. Card number 2 is called Healing. It shows what Wilma's healing process will be after her surgery. The Querent drew the High Priestess. The High Priestess is sitting between two pillars. These represent the pillars from the north and south door of Solomon's temple. The black pillar has a B, which stands for Boaz. It translates in Hebrew to he shall establish. The white pillar with the J stands for Yakin. It translates in Hebrew to in its strength. I think that the pillars indicate a few things about Wilma's healing following her surgery. First of all, Wilma needs to find balance. This includes finding the right balance between rest and physical activity so that she doesn't do too much or too little. She also needs to find a balance between listening to her body and listening to the advice of her medical team. She might need to balance her desire for independence with knowing that she must ask her family for help. Finally, Wilma might need to balance her need for a quiet environment so that she can recover with the desire of her loved ones to come and see how she's doing. Pillars are also about support and structure, and I think that having both of these in place following her surgery will enhance her healing. Wilma's support should go beyond medical professionals. It might include people bringing her meals, doing her laundry, or driving her to appointments. Structure is also extremely important. This might include doing her exercises regularly, making sure that she remembers to eat, or taking medication on schedule. I had surgery a couple of years ago and was on so much medication that I had to buy multiple pill containers, as well as keep notes to try and get my medication on time. It can be overwhelming when you are in pain and your mind is foggy from the anesthetic. Taking time to set up a structure is very helpful. The High Priestess is a very spiritual card. She guards the unconscious world and things are concealed behind her. Her message is to listen to your intuition, go inward, connect with your higher self, and look beyond the obvious. I think that these all need to be part of Wilma's healing process. Wilma needs to be aware of more than just what's going on physically. She needs to consider how her surgery will impact her emotions and her spiritual life. Let me give you 2 examples of this from my own life about staying in tune with psychological needs and what she can do to connect with spirit. The first one is taking care of your emotional needs. I had a knee replacement a few years ago, and it was horrendous physically and emotionally. While I am empathic and feel things deeply, I am not a person who cries often. I remember the physical therapist coming to my house and telling me that I just needed to cry and release all that emotion. I still couldn't do it, but I hope that Wilma will be more successful. The second example is looking after your spiritual needs. I had no idea that it is very common to get depressed after knee replacement surgery, and I wasn't prepared for it. My surgery was just after Thanksgiving weekend, and I spent much of my recovery watching Christmas movies. There was a movie about a prince who broke his leg skiing and recovered in a children's cancer hospital. This hit very close to home. I remember calling my husband into where I was sitting and telling him, "If I ever get cancer, I don't want to have any treatment and I just want you to kill me." I'm not sure if being more spiritually connected would have helped at that moment, but I think it is something that it is worth Wilma thinking about. The High Priestess is about what is hidden behind the veil. I think this means that, no matter how prepared Wilma is for this surgery, things will not happen as expected. This is when Wilma needs to trust her intuition and her inner wisdom. If Wilma thinks that she needs to sleep, she should sleep. If she feels that she needs to cry, she should cry. If she feels that something is wrong, she should contact her healthcare team. The High Priestess's crown shows the 3 phases of the moon. This is why the High Priestess is associated with the moon and natural cycles that include the tides, our unconscious, and female cycles such as menstruation. I think this indicates two things. First of all, Wilma's recovery may not be linear. It will happen in phases. She needs to be prepared for things to get better, then worse for a bit, then better again. If she's having a setback, she needs to remember that it will not be permanent and it's just part of her healing journey. Secondly, Wilma needs to adopt the High Priestess's attitude of being calm and level-headed. It's okay to take things slowly. Think about the moon. You can't rush it. No matter how much you wish you could speed time up, the moon still takes roughly a month to circle the earth. Wilma needs to be patient and trust that her healing will happen. In summary, I think that Wilma will heal well after her surgery. She can help her progress by trusting her intuition, expressing her emotions, staying balanced, accepting that her recovery will not be linear, and setting up structure and support to help her recover. Card number 3 is called Recovery. It shows what Wilma's long-term recovery will be like and how long it will take her to return to normalcy. The querent drew the 5 of Wands. It doesn't look like an easy recovery. The 5 of Wands indicates that there will be some type of a fight. It might be as simple as meaning that Wilma is fighting to regain her strength or her health. It can also indicate a struggle to get better. Wands are about action, so think of this suit meaning forward motion. Yet here we have 5 people with their wands in the air, all going in different directions. That could mean that Wilma will struggle to overcome challenges, complications, or setbacks that keep her from moving forward in her recovery. However, the first thing I thought of when I saw this card was that Wilma was facing some kind of an issue within her body. A pessimistic interpretation is that her body is fighting itself, so she may have developed an allergy to her sutures or one of her medications. A more positive interpretation is that the 5 of Wands represents the white blood cells in Wilma's body that are hard at work fighting inflammation and destroying bacteria, viruses, and fungi that were introduced to her body during surgery. I think the 5 of Wands can also indicate disagreements among her caregivers or medical team. As I mentioned earlier, I had a knee replacement a few years ago, and there were a lot of differing opinions among my medical team. I am allergic to aspirin-type products, so I couldn't take Advil or Motrin to help with pain and swelling. Physical therapy was having a tough time working with me because my pain was so poorly managed. Yet my surgeon, who barely knew me, didn't want to give me more painkillers because he thought I was faking pain so I could get more drugs. So it ended up being quite a struggle. One that, quite honestly, I'm still bitter about. Wilma could also be having disagreements with her family. Perhaps one person thinks she'd be fine living alone, somebody else thinks that she should move in with a relative, and the third person thinks that she needs to go to rehab, or depending on her age, permanently move to an assisted living facility. The second thing that this card predicts is how long Wilma's recovery will be. If you have a card from the Ace through Tens, it's pretty easy to estimate timing. I'm not going to say this is accurate, and personally, I haven't had great luck with it, but it's very easy to do. Here's how it works. Wands represent spring or days. Swords represent fall or weeks. Cups represent summer or months. And Pentacles represent winter or years. This question was posted in May. So the 5 of Wands means that her recovery will happen in 5 days or in the spring, which is basically a year. Now you have to apply a bit of common sense. If we knew what type of surgery Wilma was having, we would have a better idea. If she was having a tooth extracted, she would likely be fine in 5 days. If she was having a heart transplant, it would take longer, and taking a year to fully recover is probably reasonable. I'm going to give a couple more examples of timing just to clarify it. The Ace of Swords would mean that her recovery would happen in fall or in a week. The 7 of Cups would mean that her recovery would happen in summer or in 7 months. And the 9 of Pentacles would mean that her recovery would happen in the winter or in 9 years. So let's do a quick summary. The purpose of this reading was to figure out if Wilma should have surgery and how long her recovery would take. The reading indicates that she would do well following surgery, and depending on the type of surgery she had, her recovery would take either 5 days or a year. The Page of Pentacles, which is card number 1, showed the current state of Wilma's health and how surgery would impact it. It looks like Wilma is very focused on her health, that the problem was caught early, and that she has done a lot of research about her issues. It looks like she will have a positive outcome, and once her healing has occurred, Wilma will feel young and healthy. The High Priestess in the middle position indicates what Wilma's healing process will be after her surgery. Wilma needs to be prepared for her recovery not being linear, but she will get there. She can help her progress by trusting her intuition, expressing her emotions, staying balanced, and setting up structure and support to help her recover. The Five of Wands in the recovery position indicates what Wilma's long-term recovery will be like and how long it will take her to return to normalcy. Wilma needs to be prepared for some struggles, complications, and setbacks. These could be physical as her body works to overcome the trauma of her surgery. It could also be disagreements between her family members or her medical team. Finally, we talked about how long it would take Wilma to return to normalcy and how to use tarot cards to predict timing. Since we have no idea what kind of surgery she had, the answer was either 5 days or close to a year to have a full recovery. I hope this video has given you some ideas that you can apply to your tarot readings. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.